welcome to this special compilation Saturday Shorties. Look, I was ready to start up Saturday Shorties again today, but in the end, I really didn't like the script I ended up with, and in fact didn't even really like the subject matter. So, rather than deliver an inferior episode, I'm gonna postpone the restart of Saturday Shorties until next week. Until then, please enjoy this look at all three Insecticons. Hey, welcome to Saturday Shorties. It's back to the wonderful world of G1 Transformers today, as we'll be taking a look at an Insecticon. So meet Bombshell. This toy was released in 1985 with all original parts. And he manages to look stocky and spindly at the same time, very insect-like, which was the point since he was an Insecticon. He's also quite hefty as the torso is die-cast metal. The color scheme is very nice. The purple with some black, yellow and silver colors work really well together. It all adds up to a unique and cool looking robot. The only thing I dislike a bit is the lower legs being very hollow, a feature that's necessary for the transformation. Speaking of which, all articulation appears to be in function of the transformation too. The lower legs fold forward in that weird way that creeps me out. The upper legs should be able to move, but they're hampered by the shape of the torso, so they don't. The arms rotate 360 degrees and swivel 90 degrees. You can also swivel his head cannon to form a sort of face shield with a gun on top for added menace. He also came with a separate cool looking gun, and these two weapons show the ravages of time as the vac metallized silver is fading to reveal yellow plastic. The other kind of yellowing. Speaking of yellow, you'll notice he has a chest compartment that can open that has no function whatsoever. That's because this toy was originally from Takara's Diaclone line, where the robots were not sentient but piloted by tiny human figures that fit inside these compartments. Neat, but useless for a transformer. I suppose you could use it to store one or two small G.I.Joe guns in there if you're a weirdo like me. Transformation, like insert politician you don't like here, is very simple. You fold the legs up over the torso, you put the head cannon over the face, and rotate the arms, then swivel them down to form the legs. And there you have a robotic rhinoceros beetle. Sort of. I mean, the resemblance is there, certainly, but we're not in the Beast Wars era yet. Still, it looks like a cool little critter. The only complaint I have is that he sorta has guns molded on his forearms, and in beetle mode they point backwards. In this mode you can also see the rub sign. Okay, you can see it in robot mode too if you turn him around, but it's far more visible now. It's the way you determine he's a Decepticon. If you've managed to miss the big Decepticon sticker on his chest anyway. And that was the only toy Bombshell got in the original Generation 1 line. Unless you're in Europe where he got an Action Master. And I'm only mentioning that because I happen to own this cool rare toy. Overall, the first figure is a pretty cool insect robot guy that looks great in any collection. His name though, Bombshell. I don't know about you, but I've always associated that term with a really hot woman, as in blonde bombshell. So that makes it kinda weird. Feel free to go to your mind palace and imagine Bombshell wearing a Marilyn Monroe wig, or that dress. You're welcome. To learn more about the character, as always, there's the Transformers Wiki, where you can endlessly debate if he became Cyclonus, or is Armada, or a sweep. Look, it didn't make sense then, and it doesn't now. Hey, welcome to Saturday Shorties. Look, we started on the Insecticons, so we're plowing ahead with them. Well, the three from the cartoon anyway. I don't have the other ones. So meet Kickback. This toy was released in 1985 with all original parts. And first impression, he looks kinda short. A short king, no doubt, but still short. I guess I had expected him to be taller and thinner, considering what he transforms into. Still, it's a pretty nice looking robot mode. The color scheme is identical to Bombshell's, so black and purple with silver and yellow highlights. His torso is also metal, but since it is a bit smaller than Bombshell's, he doesn't feel as hefty. Like the other Insecticons, the mold is from Takara's Diaclone line, so his chest compartment opens up to fit a tiny human pilot, irrelevant to Transformers. As I learned from comments on my last shorty, people tended to use it for storing energon cubes, or pretending to anyway. Articulation is pretty good. The head moves 360 degrees, the legs move about 90 degrees. In addition, he can move his antenna a bit and his wings move 360 degrees. But what's really special are his arms. They rotate 360 degrees, but also separate into two arms that have their own articulation. It's pretty innovative and adds a real alien look to the guy. Due to the arm construction, well, he could still hold a gun, but it would be sideways, so instead he comes with a weapon that slides over the arm. It's pretty neat and unique looking. Transformation is, a bit disappointing. You rotate the head 180 degrees. You move the legs up and extend the grasshopper legs. You raise the wings and separate the arms. And so you get a robot grasshopper. Kinda. Yeah, this is basically lay the figure on its back and move a few things a little. I like simple transformations, but this is a little too simple. In this mode, the rub sign shows up on one of the wings, though you can just move them in robot mode for the same effect. Also, please ignore the yellow, it's supposed to be vac metallized silver. It brings me shame. I would get a replacement that's in mint condition, but this is the toy from my childhood, so I'm still fond of it. In fact, this is the first Insecticon I got. There's quite a lot of cool detailing on the toy, like the chest cover that has a lot going on, and the wings that have lots of techno stuff on them. The back of the figure is a bit more sparse, but there's still some stuff there too. There's some stuff there. That's the in-depth technical analysis that keeps you coming back to this channel every time. Overall, it's a cool toy, though not without its flaws. I'd rank it below Bombshell as far as the Insecticons go. For more information about Kickback, like how he really likes to kick things, and the Insecticons in general, like that time they developed a taste for human flesh, no really, head over to the Transformers wiki and kick back and relax. That's a terrible pun to end on. I could just kick myself. Hey, welcome to Saturday Shorties, and welcome to the final part of our Insecticon trilogy. So meet Shrapnel. This toy was released in 1985 with all original parts. And that is one horny dude. Well, he is. There's no way the first thing you notice isn't those pincer things. Makes you forget the rest of the figure exists even. And makes it a pain in the ass to display in a collection. His color scheme is identical to that of the other two Insecticons. Black, silver, yellow and purple. By the way, this particular toy looks like it has far less purple. Well, that's because I got it at a flea market. I never had Shrapnel as a kid. And either it's been in the sun way too long, or some kid took a black marker to it because it's far less vibrant than it's supposed to be. For comparison, here's the figure on that vortex of free time, the Transformers wiki, getting that plug out of the way early. Notice me, senpai. Anyway, like the others, his chest opens up because they were piloted mechs in their original toy line. Though for Transformers, this does make them more suited to carry the matrix of leadership than the original Optimus Prime. Looking at him, this guy is like in the middle of Kickback and Bombshell. Shorter than Bombi, but more stocky than Kicky, making him the best proportioned out of the three, if you ignore the mandibles. Articulation is okay. He can move his arms, in theory 360 degrees if other stuff didn't get in the way, and he can move his legs about 180 degrees. His torso also spins 360 degrees. Additionally, because of the transformation, his mandibles swing upwards, so he can man in the Iron Mask himself. You know, a lot of people say, not the face, but this guy actually does something about it. That brings us to the transformation. So, mandibles, swing the torso around, the lower legs slide up over the upper legs, you move his feet up or down depending on how you look at it, and there you have a Robo-Stag Beetle. What's weird is you don't really do anything with the arms. I expected you had to move them in some way, to the point I had to look up if I was forgetting something, but nope, they just stay in the same position. Like in robot mode, in bug form he's firmly in the middle of the group. Better looking than Kickback, but not as nice as Bombshell. Speaking of bugs, since when will I ever have the chance to talk about this again, why create the Insecticons? The original Japanese toys, I mean. Hasbro just licensed the molds. Well, in Japan, a very popular hobby with kids is to collect bugs. Sometimes to make them fight, though never to the death. It was so popular, Takara figured robots that turn into insects might be popular. They weren't wrong. In fact, this hobby is why Pokémon exist. The creator of the franchise, Satoshi Tajiri, was an avid insect collector as a kid, and that inspired him to invent the pocket monsters that we're still trying to catch all of today. Shrapnel, like the others, came with a gun, but I don't have that, so enjoy this picture I found online. It looks cool. And that was Shrapnel, and indeed all three original Insecticons. Like I've said, he's in the middle, though that's not a bad thing. All three are great toys. I just like him better than Kickback, but not as much as Bombshell. You know, I was glad I was able to take a look at the entire cool set. Saturday Shorties really does give me extra opportunities to do the stuff I love. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?